time progresses and I grow older, the realization comes to me that the world isn't all right. Nothing is ever clear, and lies are usually what the public ingests as their information. I'm late on this by 7 days or so, maybe a week. It was originally dropped by Suzanne Wachowski. I don't know what the hell her name is, but she's the person that's been running YouTube in the ground for the past couple of years. She shared a tweet on the 7th of July. Today, we shared YouTube's $25 million investment to support the future of news and online video. We're partnering with news industries and working to provide better news experiences on YouTube. This is simply because the news channels are out of touch and never bothered once to get on the bus. They failed to evolve. The funny thing is, when I think of people who had it all and failed to evolve, Playboy comes to mind. Playboy magazine was like the premier adult magazine. It was like the pinnacle, the top of the pops, as they say. But what Hugh Hefner failed to do, as time progressed and the digital age came, was evolve, was to move on with the digital age. MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News, whatever else have you, etc., all in their hubris, in their arrogance, assumed that they could ignore the digital age, that people will continuously follow them. But as the newer generation stayed on the internet and the older generation faded off into the obscurity of the grave, these newscasters and news channels began to learn that the sheeple were moving on. So, of course, what do? They attacked YouTube. We all know it and remember it, leading to YouTube losing amazing levels of revenue. It pretty much killed the ability to make YouTube a viable source of income for many people who weren't already grandfathered into being multi-million sub channels. For the rest of us, it's nothing more than a hobby now, and maybe every now and then you get enough money to have a nice dinner once a month. So YouTube is giving $25 million to these damn news outlets, and I will tell you this from personal experience. If there's one thing you can learn from me if you're younger than me, it's this. Do not trust what the news has to tell you, and do not believe a fucking thing the government tells you. Everything is true from a certain point of view, as Obi-Wan would say, and perception is reality to many.
It's a media-opoly, a media-opoly. The whole media is controlled by a few corporations thanks to deregulation by the FCC.
You mean Disney, Fox, Westinghouse, and good old GE?
They own networks from CBS to CNBC.
They can use them to say whatever they please and put down the opinions of anyone who disagrees.
Or stuff about PCBs.
What are PCBs?
They come from electric power plants built by Westinghouse and GE.
They can give you lots of cancer that can hurt your body.
But on network TV, you rarely hear anything bad about the nuclear industry.
Like when Westinghouse was sued for fraud.
Which time?
When GE made defective bolts, it was an unreported crime. Or when it was boycotted for operating nuclear bomb plants just to squeeze a dime.
That's a footnote, by the way.
A footnote protects you from folks who doubt what you say. Now maybe the voices in my head will go away.
But the big shots don't care. They're all sitting pretty thanks to corporate welfare.
What's that now?
They get billions in subsidies from the government. It's supposed to create jobs, but that's not how it's spent. They use tax and soft money to support congressmen who will vote for weapons programs again and again and let them dump toxic waste where the young ones play.
INGE made the bullets that shot JFK.
You contribute to this chain every time you buy a product sponsored on this show.
That's what NBC doesn't want you to know. So the next time.
When I look at MSNBC's coverage of this, the first thing you see is Google is showering more attention on YouTube as part of an effort to fight fake news. When they say that, I wouldn't say that they're fighting fake news, they're fighting unfiltered news. I found YouTubers put in more due diligence when it comes to subject matters that involve the news, whether it's from video gaming to school shootings, than our newscasters bother to do.
So I speak for all gamers when I say the media should stop talking to critics like Anita Sarkeesian. Here now to be talked to is media critic and creator of the web series Feminist Frequency, Anita Sarkeesian. Ms. Sarkeesian, thanks so much for being on Look. Let's put this on the line. Okay, let's call this what it is. You and the other feminazis in the gamer world are coming for our balls to snip them off, put them into a little felt purse, and take them away, so we have to play your non-violent games, right?
No, that's not true.
It's a culture war. It's a subculture war.
There is something going on, and what it is women being harassed and threatened and terrorized
After you first attacked male gamers for enjoying looking at big-breasted women with tiny armor that barely covers their nipples.
And believe me when I say these fuckers are puppets on the goddamn string, and don't think otherwise for a minute. The whole point of modern news is subterfuge. It's to keep you willfully ignorant. What you don't know is going on makes you more docile. And why do you think they put oxygen in planes when they're crashing? They want you to huff that shit up, and instead of you screaming and freaking out, and possibly trying to find a way to save your worthless life, you'll sit down, you'll be serene, and accept your fate.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about troubling, irresponsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Because it's all part of the plan.
Now, I'm going to pepper in little snippets, you might have found them randomly thrown about, showing you just how shit news really is, how untrustworthy it is. It doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you lean on, whether it's red party or blue party, Republican, Democrat, you get me? The status quo never changes. Remember that. If you're sitting here and you're a liberal and you're screaming about conservative views I may have, wait till the Democrats are back in power and nothing will change. The news will constantly shit out whatever narrative they wish to push and keep those ignorant enough to put their faith and trust in them calmly in a box.
Why? Because while the truncheon may be used in lieu of conversation, words will always retain their power. Words offer the means to meaning, and for those who will listen, the enunciation of truth. And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
The reason why the news can't be trusted, and this is a bit late, is because of Reagan. Around 1985 to 1987, he removed the Fairness Doctrine, if I recall correctly.
In a parting gift to future conservatives, in 1987, the FCC, with Reagan's help, repealed the Fairness Doctrine, which had required broadcasters since the 1940s to give adequate and fair coverage to opposing views on issues of public importance.
Until 1987, when the Federal Communications Commission did away with the so-called Fairness Doctrine. Which was what?
The Fairness Doctrine basically said that people on radio and television, if they presented one political point of view, had to balance it with the opposite political point of view. Now you take conservative talk radio, move that forward to tribal cable television, and then layer onto that email and social media. And all of a sudden, we live in a world where people can get information and believe it's absolutely true and not have to get any kind of opposing point of view. And once they believe it, they will always believe it, even if it's utterly false.
We have to give some credit to the American people that they're somewhat intelligent and that they know the difference between an opinion show and a news show.
Yeah.
You're cynical. Look at that. Yeah.
I am cynical because, you know.
You think we're bad for America? You think I'm bad for America?
Yeah.
You do?
In the long haul, I think you and all these opinion shows.
That's sad, Ted.
No, you know why?
That's sad.
Because you're very good at what you do, and because you have attracted a significantly more influential.
Selling the American
let me
people
finish
short.
Let me finish the sentence before you do that.
With all due respect.
Yes.
Take the floor.
You have attracted people who are determined that ideology is more important than facts.
It gave Clear Channel, it gave Fox News and Rupert Murdoch more power to control media and narrative, to control your mind, to control views. Think of Vietnam. The government sat there and told the American public we were winning the war. We weren't.
A gradual loosening of limitations on the number of stations a company could own had by 1996 enabled the growth of a right-wing media empire. With it came a number of interlocked, well-funded conservative think tanks that helped shape a new Washington groupthink. Playing up fears, resentments, and hatred of government, by the end of the 90s, Clear Channel, Rupert Murdoch's Fox News, Talk Radio Network, Salem Radio, the USA Radio Network, and Radio America, as well as the proliferation of cable television networks, had created a movement that would dramatically lower the standards of American political discourse, and in general doom prospects for progressive change.
Point being, I don't know why anyone's shocked by all of this. I don't know why anyone could be completely taken aback by this. How could you not see this coming? The writing has been on a wall for a while, for a long time. You can't expect, as the digital age becomes more prominent, that the media or the government is going to let it remain free for long. You can't control people if they're free, but you can control them if they think they're free. As Apocalypse once said to the X-Men, there is no freedom from me, only freedom through me. And that's how I feel about America as a whole. Don't confuse patriotism and Djangoism. And don't ever let nationalism rule your life. But then again, my bloodline stems from the First Nation. So I come from a people older than the idea of America. And look at us now. We're damn near extinct.